The long wait is over, the summer is gone, the best leagues in the land are back.
It's time to raise the game.
Good evening, Croeso, and welcome to Cardiff Met TV. Tonight, Cardiff Met welcome Swansea University to Rugby 1 in a battle of the Welsh universities. I'm Georgie Haynes, I'll be your host tonight, and this is my co-host Alid Hopkins.
Good evening, Georgie.
Alid, Met will be looking to bounce back after their unlucky 3 losses.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Met. They'll obviously be looking to bounce back tonight. Away loss at Durham last week, which they would have been disappointed to lose. But of course, I was commentating here 2 weeks ago against Loughborough, top of the table clash, and they came across really well. So a big opportunity here tonight against Swansea, who they have beaten. But as I mentioned, last time out against Loughborough here at Kincoid, let's take a look through the lens the last time we were here against Loughborough. Thank you very much, Alex. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Rugby 1 here at Kincoid, where Cardiff Met welcomes sporting powerhouse Loughborough. I think this is a massive game for Cardiff Met to prove to themselves that they can beat the top 4 side, as we go into a minute silence for Professor John Pugh. And that's a good take by Doyle, and Doyle grabs it and he's over the line for the first try. And Wainwright will just kick it out to bring the first half to a close. But here come the Archers coming out for the second half. Kerwin's got gas to burn. Hill is there as well. And he's gone over in the corner. A try for Cardiff Met. What a kick from Steph Crim. As Loughborough go for the line, and it's pick and drive, and it is a try in the corner. And it's Meredith again, looks for the inside ball. And it's over the line, is it? Yes, again. Out wide to Crimp. Inside Carrington, out to the ball. Henry Kerwin, he's in the corner, and he's over for a Cardiff Met try. As they breaks that line, and Loughborough are in here as Brian comes towards the line, and Brian is over. Cardiff Met agonisingly again losing by 7 points, but a fantastic effort from the Archers here. Yeah, tough loss there for Met. We are delighted to be joined by one of the stars of the Met team, Steph Crimp. Steph, gutted not to be out there tonight. You picked up a knock last week away at Durham.
Yeah, just a little knock on my hip, but nothing that should keep me out for too long.
Perfect, so as we've mentioned before, a loss in Durham. Can you tell us a little bit more about what happened up there?
Yeah, we started really well, scored in the first couple of minutes, and then Durham scored a couple of times in the first half, and then we were just chasing the game from them. We looked to get back into it, but didn't have enough to get over the line in the end.
And a game against Swansea here tonight, who you beat in round 1. Is this a massive opportunity for you guys to get back in the win column and right the wrongs of the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, definitely. We got 3 big games now coming into Christmas, and we need to get some momentum. So, first one here tonight, get a good win, and then we can move on to Exeter and Cardiff and the last 2.
And we saw in the week that you've signed for the San Diego Legion. First of all, congratulations. How big an opportunity is that for you personally?
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity. Obviously, first professional contract, and I've got family over there, so it makes it a bit more special.
Josh Carrington scored a hat-trick the last time these 2 teams met. He's pulled out, unfortunately, with an injury last minute. But who else in this Met team should we be looking for tonight as is going to make an impact on this game?
Yeah, Tian Evans, who's come in, I live with actually. He's been in great form in our Prem team. so I'm sure he'll play well tonight, and definitely our wingers Dill Scott and Henry Cohen, they'll be looking to score some tries.
So as we've mentioned, a Welsh derby tonight as well. So does this tension add to the fixture at all?
Yeah, definitely it is personal for us, obviously, 2 Welsh unis. But we've got a bit of an edge over them, obviously winning away down there in St Helens, so we'll be looking to use that as a bit to our advantage tonight.
Thanks very much, Steph. We'll let you get off and enjoy the game. Thanks very much for joining us. And we all know how important mental health is, especially for men. And this week, the Movember campaign has been getting underway at Cardiff Met, raising money and awareness for men's mental health. Here's the Cardiff Met Cricket Club to tell us all about it.
Suicide is the leading cause of death for males between 20 and 34. Mental health is something that impacts us all, and we are proud to be a part of the movement that breaks that stigma.
We aim to run 358 kilometres in November for the 358 men who kill themselves in the UK monthly.
We would like to encourage difficult conversations within the group to ensure better men's health.
Movember is a charity quite close to our heart at Cardiff Met Cricket. There's 100+ lads and we all want our voices to be heard.
On Saturday the 30th of November, it sees our final event, Rugby versus Cricket football match on here. We hope to see you all there.
Please donate to the Cardiff Met Movember page.
And we are delighted to be joined by Sam Bright from the Cricket Club. Sam, thanks so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit how important this campaign is to the Cricket Club, especially in particular the men's club as well?
Yeah, I think it's been majorly important this month. I think men's mental health is often overlooked. And I think there's been a big push recently in professional sport and amateur sport to really drive this, and I think that's something that the committee and the rest of the club have really tried to push as well.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you're raising awareness at the Cardiff Met Cricket Club?
Yeah, so we've done a lot on social media. We've really tried to push lads, a lot of lads doing runs, haircuts, especially mine, that one's gone. Recently we've had lads walking up Penavan and Snowdon. Yeah, so a lot of lads have really tried to just raise awareness, get it on their social media, try and spread it as much within families, within their friends, and it shows because we have raised a considerable amount of money.
Yeah, so just super quickly, have you got any predictions for the match this Saturday? I know there is a Cardiff Cricket Club versus men's rugby football match. Have you got any predictions?
I think it's going to be 4-1, a Sam Bright hat-trick. Fingers crossed anyway.
Nice, lovely, I love it. So tonight is not just a contest of 2 Welsh universities, it is also a clash of the sponsors. Prospero Teaching are sponsoring Cardiff Met RFC as well as Swansea RFC this year. At Cardiff Met we are extremely proud to be a teacher training organisation. Therefore, having this sponsorship is a true honour to us. Joining me now is Jack Shaw, Regional Director. Yep. Am I right? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. To tell us a little bit more. Perfect. So, hello Jack.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. So can you explain for those who might not know what Prospero Teaching is?
Yeah, so we're one of the leading educational agencies across the UK. We've got multiple offices here. We help people get into education. They're looking for work, so we do everything from teaching assistants, teachers, everything from private nurseries up to further education. So any of the roles there, whether it be teaching, support, ancillary, etc. But we've got a real good connection here with Cardiff Met.
Yeah, perfect. So what qualities or qualifications are you looking for someone who might want to apply?
So obviously for our teaching ones, we're looking for people who have got the qualified teaching status, that have undertaken a postgrad or a 4-year, which gives them QTS at the end.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity for anyone who wants to experience getting into the education sector. So a lot of the students here at Cardiff Met will come and join us. They may not have full experience working in schools, but are considering going into education and maybe furthering their career as a teacher. So that's what we do. We support them, allow them to get into the schools, whether that be experience in primary or secondary, or working with additional learning needs. It has that opportunity to cover all bases.
And how many schools are you working with across South Wales at the moment?
Oh, if you put an exact number on there, you put me right on the spot. But we cover all of it. Like my remit, I cover our Welsh region, and I've got offices in Cardiff and in Swansea. we're sponsoring both teams here tonight. So the Swansea office, are looking as far as Pembrokeshire, but we cover all the way Powys, Mid Wales, all the way up North Wales. But it doesn't stop there, because obviously the students here could be from wherever.
Yeah.
So I've got people here from Cardiff Met. They've come and work for us while they're living in Cardiff, and then when they've gone back up to Birmingham or to Southampton, wherever, they've picked up with one of my other offices down there. So it gives them a full 365.
Yeah, perfect. So just as you mentioned, are you a rugby fan yourself? Who are you going to be supporting tonight? I know you're a sponsor of both teams, so slightly controversial question.
We're good here. I'm an ex. I say UWIC, I'm an ex-UWIC student. I was here from 2008 to 2011. Cardiff Met is where I am. The relationship is where I am. I've got a good connection with the rugby team. I played first 15 year for my freshers, first, second and third year. So I was all the way through. So it's Cardiff Met, I've got to say.
Once Cardiff Met, always Cardiff Met.
You've got to be there. It's like the UWIC you want. So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
the next chat we want to hear next.
No, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been a great insight into Prospero Teaching. So it's time to get ready for kick-off. Our comms teams are ready and waiting up in the gantry for you to bring you all the action of the game. Alex and Will, over to you.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Georgie. Noswyth a croeso I Kincoed campus, the home of the Archers at Cardiff Met University. Famously described as a breeding ground for test match rugby by Japan head coach Eddie Jones, the campus will tonight play host to Swansea University in round 9 of the 2024-25 BUCS Super Rugby season. A number of changes to Ian Gardner's pack as players who've impressed off the bench this season force their way into the starting 15. Captain Ben Murphy is joined in the front row by Merritt and Surrey, both of whom return to the starting 15 after impacting off the bench. The versatility of Moore sees him move from the back row to the second as Yallop switches from the flank to number 8. Hart and Hansen are in at 6 and 7. Met have just the 2 changes in the back line. Steph Crimp is out with illness, so Jack Statten comes in at 13. Carrington became the 3rd change though, with a late injury withdrawal at 15, and Tian Evans is in to replace him. Dylan Scott returns to the back 3 in place of Hill, reuniting with the ever-dangerous Kerwin on the other touchline. Walsh, Couch and Owen drop to the bench, from which Wilmot will hope to make his return from injury. Swansea continue to tinker with their starting lineup as they look to get back to winning ways, and in the pack, the GWA have also called upon their players to moonlight in different positions. Hugo Morley shifts from number 8 to lock, while Gethin Howell jumps from the blind side to the open side. Hooker Joe Rees continues as captain. And we are just about to get underway. The whistle going in this one. And it is Vikas Meyer who puts this ball high into the night sky. Well taken by Swansea. And I'm delighted to be joined on commentary tonight by Alex Hyman. Alex, Met desperately needing the win this evening.
Oh, Will, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. And yeah, absolutely. It's a crucial fixture for Cardiff Met. And not only them, but Swansea too. Both teams off the back of a couple of losses, and they're both looking to get back on track. Cardiff Met need to impose their attacking game style if they're in with a chance of winning here tonight. But let's see how they get on. So much at stake.
So both teams going to the boot early on. And Cardiff Met are the ones that end up as the beneficiary. That ball lost by Swansea, just falling forwards out the hands, and our first opportunity to see these 2 packs clash at scrum time. Now we were hearing earlier in the week, Alex, that the Swansea pack is famous for their set piece and their rolling maul, so you'd imagine that their scrum is fairly good as well. Good bit of weight in that pack.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to be looking to really impose their front pack on this Cardiff Met pack. So it's really going to be a battle to see whether Cardiff Met can sort of neutralise that weight that Swansea have on offer, because it is something else, isn't it? On the other hand, the Cardiff Met backs are a hell of a sight. So let's see who wins the battle.
Alex Terry, who's been pretty much an ever-present in this side since forcing his way ahead of Harry Rice at number 9, feeds the scrum, and a good crash ball off the back of it, playing over to the open side now. And strong tackling from Swansea as Cardiff Met go wide early on. over to Dylan Scott, the returnee on that right wing, and then over the touchline in the tackle from Swansea, which will end that attack and give Swansea their first set piece of the game.
Yeah, good to see early doors Dylan Scott getting some confidence down that sideline. He's been shown to show some real pace already this season.
Thrown to the back of the line out, even though they are in their own red zone, Swansea, and we see immediately that rolling maul paying dividends. Penalty to Swansea University off the back of that. Cardiff Met seems to have no answer to it.
No, that's exactly what we were talking about, Sheps. It's just that front pack from Swansea, so much power. Full of powerhouses, aren't they, those front three? And I think it was Joe Rees who caused the penalty in the end against Cardiff Met. So a really good start from the Swans, and now they'll have a line out just in front of the Archer fans, the Ultras as we call them here.
Yeah, well, Cardiff Met won this fixture earlier in the year. This is the first opponent that they are playing for the second time in the BUCS Super Rugby season. 34-24 down at St Helens in September. And it's not going to be easy for Swansea tonight playing against that kind of noise from the Ultras. Their support so notorious that a couple of weeks ago Loughborough set up their bench on the opposite side of the field from the crowd just to be able to hear themselves think. It didn't impact on Swansea's line out. They won that one again, but went off the top this time instead of going for the rolling maul. Some big carries here from their forwards, continuing to gain ground on each one. Good couple of metres there, and over the ball go Met, nearly getting the turnover, appealing for the penalty, but play allowed to continue. And so Swansea now hit the Met 22. Ball slowed down a little bit. Here we see our first bit of inventiveness from Steph Jack Jones, and it's worked perfectly. Ball ending up in the hands of Max Ambrosini off that kick pass. Met close it down. No try coming from it. That was a very dangerous attack though, so Met dealt with that well. And now the ball into the hands of one of those big props that you mentioned earlier, Alex. That's Price. Jack Jones had a huge hit there from Met, pinning Swansea back. But just as the Maroon Tide moves them one way, the Green and White Army go the other. And they are going to have the first chance to cross the line here. Last ditch defence coming in from Met. They have to stay tight around that ruck. They cannot allow any gaps. Whistle goes. And a little bit of tastiness coming from the two teams. There's no such thing as a quiet South Wales derby. Ben Whitehouse, I'm sure, will have a fair bit of work to do this evening on the whistle to keep tensions calm between these two sides.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Murphy and Max Marshall there having a bit of conflict early doors, so something for Ben Whitehouse to just think about early doors in this matchup. But he's experienced, you know, he's been in charge of some huge fixtures.
Jack Jones with the penalty kick to touch, hits that perfectly on the 5 metre line. So attacking line out to Swansea, and we saw how dangerous their rolling maul was in their own 22. It is critical that Met get to grips with it here at the other end of the pitch. The whistle goes, this line out is going to be retaken. Looks like Whitehouse felt the two lines just moved a little bit closer together. He's happy to just warn the two teams on this occasion rather than going for a free kick.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that he's just letting them know that, you know, he's in charge and he's the one that's going to dictate how things happen here at Rugby 1 tonight.
The captain, Rees, throws to his front jumper and the maul immediately breaks down. That's not what Swansea would have wanted from it, so good neutralisation from the Archers. Ben Murphy leading his side defensively there, making a good tackle. No ground gained as of yet by Swansea. Just moving laterally towards the centre of the pitch. Little slip through there. Staying with the forwards for now, Swansea. Even though there are big gaps if they were to put the ball through the hands of the backs. And just as they decide to do so, Ben Thomas loses it, but it is penalty Swansea once again. A third penalty to them of the game, a second penalty in this visit to the 22. And Whitehouse just having a word with Ben Murphy, the Archers captain, again.
Yeah, I love the patience from Swansea so far. They understand the game plan, I think, from their side. You know, we spoke about the importance of their pack. We spoke to their coach just before the game started, and he was saying how it's just so important for them to win that battle of the front row, especially in these periods where Swansea are looking to go phase after phase and just tire out that front pack of Cardiff Met. So really impressive so far that they're able to win that battle so far, Sheps.
Yeah, concerning times for Met. This is a side, of course, that they, as we mentioned, they beat earlier in the season. This fixture a year ago was a comprehensive victory. They nearly brought up the half century, nearly raised the bat. 48-12 was how that one ended to Cardiff Met. Just 3 returnees for Met from the fixture a year ago. Merritt at hooker, Yella, who was playing 6 that time as he did last week, but he's moved to 8 here, and then Vikas Meyer, the Dutch international, at 10. He's I'm sure we'll be talking quite a bit about him during the game, but we are just about to get underway. An early substitution for Swansea University. An injury one, that, and we will bring you more news as we have it, as Swansea go for their original tactic once again, into the hands of the big lads. And now they shift it wide, and that will be the opening score. Willis Wood over in the right-hand corner. As simple as you like for Swansea University, 5-0.
Well, simply sublime from Swansea so far. Almost faultless performance in the first 5 or so minutes. I mean, it all started with that kick from Steph Jack Jones a couple of minutes ago to open up the space, and it was Max Ambrosini who then got the tackle done, but Cardiff Met unable to fight off that attack from Swansea, and eventually, after some patience, but consistent patience from Swansea, Willis Wood able to get over the line for the first try of the match here at Rugby 1.
Now, Willis Wood, who's been involved with Swansea RC in the Welsh Premiership, the try scorer, and also a Premiership player now, Steph Jack Jones, who will attempt the conversion. He's been involved with Scarlett's Academy most recently. Bright things in his future. Will that include tonight's match? Kick from wide out on the right-hand touchline, just fades to the left of the uprights. Remains Swansea University 5, Cardiff Met 0, and a quick return of fire needed from the Archers here. As Meyer will take the restart. Puts that nice and high, so his forward pack able to chase it. Swansea take it comfortably though before the tackle comes in, and they will be able to set themselves a platform for their exit set. Short pass over to the left-hand side just to give a slightly narrower angle for Steph Jack Jones to put in this kick to touch. In fact, it's going to stay with Thomas at 9. Up high into the sky. Well taken despite the onrushing defence of Swansea, but penalty to Cardiff Met, their first of the game, and that key for them to start to get a little bit of a foothold into this game, Alex.
I think it was Tian Evans who...
Oh, hell of a boot, but it stayed in. That was so nearly a perfect penalty kick for touch from Vikas Meyer. Sorry to cut you off there, Alex. Thought we were about to say a piece of brilliance. Well kept in by Swansea, and it's Meyer who then took that kick back up. So he has maintained possession for Met and into the Swansea half. Quick passing there into the hands of Arthur Moore, who was moved from 8 Miss pass out to Dylan Scott. Steps back inside against his opposite number. Terry. Meyer. And we see the captain on the ball there in midfield. Thumping hit on the 10-metre line. Another penalty to Cardiff Met. More words from the referee. Slightly easier angle for BUCS Meyer to kick for touch here. So this one we would hope to see cross the touchline and give Met their first attacking platform. In fact, it looks like Meyer is going to go for the kick at goal. Alex, we saw him practicing a few of these before kickoff, and well, let's just say I hope this one goes a little bit better than the first couple that he took, and he can put those out of his mind. We know that he's got a very, very accurate boot on him, and he copes with pressure really well, does Meyer. Lining this one up. And that has gone perfectly through the upright. No problems for Meyer. And the margin now just 2 points. Met 3, Swansea University 5.
Yeah, great to see BUCS Meyer getting involved in this game now. You know, he's been quiet in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and now we're starting to see a little bit more of him on the pitch, which is good to see. He's back from international duty for the Netherlands, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares back in the BUCS rugby side of things now. He's got a lot to show for himself.
Penalty to Swansea on the 22, turned over by the referee, obviously not happy with the words that were being spoken by the Swansea pack, and that is key for Met. They are currently, they might not be winning the penalty count, but they are winning the referee's favour in terms of words after the whistle.
It's interesting, Will, because the ref is actually from Swansea, he's from Gowerton, and so potentially that could have been a bit interesting coming into the game, but it's good to see he could be on the Archers side here.
Sure, he'll be entirely neutral, one of the WRU's 5 professional referees, so we are lucky to have such a highly qualified referee taking charge of the game tonight. Met with their first line-out in Swansea territory. And Hansen thrown high in the air, the Dutch colleague of Meyer. That ball lost forwards by Josh Hart, follows up with a big hit just to make sure that Swansea can't counter-attack. Will come back for the scrum, and it's going to be a green and white put-in. Just looking over to that far side and trying to see, Alex, whether there are many travelling supporters that have come down from Swansea or any near our broadcast country here. We do know they do call themselves the Green and White Army, so I'm sure that they bring some noise and colour to Swansea's matches, but at the moment it does feel like the Ultras are winning the battle of the supporters.
Yeah, that's right, Will. Swansea about an hour away from Rugby 1, so not too far, especially considering where some other teams in this league are travelling from, the likes of Leeds Beckett, the likes of Loughborough, so wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a few more turn up as the Swans get back with some territory here.
This could be a 50-22. Oh my goodness, it could even be a try for Swansea. I tell you what, Henry Cohen was not expecting that ball to be flung back in field from Tian Evans, the late injury replacement for Cardiff Met. Jack Jones's kick just sitting up before the touchline, forcing Tian Evans to make the decision as to try and pull that ball back in field. And we saw Willis Wood, the try scorer, herring after it for Swansea University. That was almost their second score. Met escaping by the skin of their teeth.
God, that was just a little bit of lack of composure there from Tian Evans. Yeah, that's where I think Cardiff Met just need to take a moment to think about where they are in the game, you know, think about the situation, think about where the errors have been coming so far in this season, and that was very nearly a costly error
So a really important scrum for Met here. The last one we saw was beautiful from both sides. Swansea was starting to dominate that one, so it was important to get that into the hands of Yala, the master's student and a veteran of this Archers side. He made some good ground off the base of the scrum, and that will relieve the pressure for Met and give Terry time to put in the box kick. And that's just over the touchline. Quick line out attempted by Swansea, but I think that Wood actually stepped in field before he passed that ball, which is why the assistant referee is signalling that it's actually going to be a Met line out here. And just some checking between the assistant referee and the referee. Are absolutely certain that was the correct decision. They were. Terry immediately caught by the second rower from Swansea, Theo Curry, charging through the line, and just an injury here for Met. So just have a couple of moments. But yeah, Theo Curry, the Quins under-18 and Scotland under-20 representative. He only actually switched from football to rugby at the age of 15, Alex, but he's managed to get himself involved with Quins, selected for Scotland, and he's showing exactly why there. No time on the ball given to Alex Terry to distribute out from the line-out.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, fair play to him. If he's only just come over from football a few years ago and he's already managed to get himself involved with the Quins, I mean, clearly a lot of transferable skills from other sports, especially football. That quick feet, the ability to get low in the tackle, really impressive. He's had a good game so far.
So it is a penalty to Met, and Meyer just a couple of metres inside his own half will look to get this one deep into the 22. We know he's got a big boot on him, and that one's going to cross the touchline just inside the Swansea red zone. So a visit for the Archers.
This is where you really want to see Cardiff Met take advantage of their territory here. They've done well to get themselves inside the 22 of their opponents. Now it's time to capitalise.
It certainly is, and that's not the line out there, throwing from the back to the front. Just making sure that numbers match at the line. Met having a quick chat, going through their calls. Really important, this one. Merritt looking for his jumper at the back of the line, and it's going to be off the back to Merritt, and what looked like a really well practiced set play has unfolded pretty poorly for Met. Meyer does well to get back there and secure that ball for the Archers. Yes, certainly that tempo, that momentum needs to be turned in Cardiff Met's favour if they are to get themselves over the line. And we are pleased to welcome you back to the live stream here at Rugby 1 Kincoid campus. Afraid we had a couple of technical difficulties that saw us dip off there. Hopefully it's given you time to put the kettle on and make a nice cup of tea to warm yourself up on this cold November evening. The scoreline remains the same as it was when you were last with us. Cardiff Met 3, Swansea University 5, and one of the last things you probably saw was a Swansea penalty. We just had another one there, and that will give them the line out about halfway into Met's half. Pretty slow walking to the line out here, Swansea, which gives the Met Ultras the chance to get the noise level up, make it harder for Swansea to hear the calls, and Met do win the line out against the head. That's worked absolutely brilliantly for them. Galloping after that loose ball to secure it for the Archers. And now they need to set the platform for the clearing kick and make sure they do it a little better than when Terry was charged down a few minutes ago. Steph Jack Jones underneath that one puts in the low kick back down into Met's 22. Meyer receives it. Battle of the 10, battle of the kickers, and it's worked out better for Meyer. That bounce, difficult for Swansea to deal with, just buys Met time to get up into the Swansea player's face and prevent him from putting in a really deep kick. And in fact, Swansea then offside in the chase, and that gives Met the penalty. Vikas Meyer looks like he's going for another shot at goal. He was absolutely perfect on the first one, and so he's going to give it another go, probably from, say, about 9 metres further out. Still pretty much in front of the posts, just a shade to the right. But if he drills this one hard down the field, there's no reason he can't get another 3 and take the lead for Cardiff Met here. No win tonight, Alex. The threat that we've seen of Storm Burt over the weekend has died down, and so not something that Meyer's having to battle with.
Yeah, thank God for that. Storm Burt was a heck of a sight earlier on this week. Let's see if Vikas Meyer can make it 2 from 2 so far.
Low, hard, that is fading to the right though. It had the distance, just didn't quite have the accuracy. So it remains Met 3, Swansea 5, and a 22-metre dropout for Swansea University.
Yeah, unfortunate for Vikas not to capitalise on some strong play in the last couple of minutes from Cardiff Met. Still down in the scoreboard by 2, but Cardiff Met levelling things up in terms of possession with just under 10 minutes to go in this first half.
Advantage Met after the Swansea knock-on, trying to regather their own dropout. So that will just give them a little bit more freedom in this first phase. Slow ball here at the ruck. Swansea need no extra invitation to be straight up in Met's faces with their defensive line. And we're going to go back for the knock-on. And so as you can see, the scoreboard shining out around the ground there. It's displaying 7 minutes left in this half. Now, that scoreboard doesn't stop when the referee stops his watch, so we will have just a little bit longer than that to play in this first half. We've had a couple of stoppages with injuries early on, one of which saw Will Plessis come on for Swansea University. He's another that's involved with the Scarlets, like Steph Jack Jones at 10. So number 20, Will Plessis, has come on early for Swansea University. And Cardiff Met scrum, 10 metres into Swansea's half, and all of the left-hand side of the field to play into here, Alex.
so much space on offer for the Archers, and not far away from the Ultras. I think they sense a feeling that this could be it, getting in before half-time, getting their first try on the board. Let's see if they can do it.
Nice passing play, finds Dylan Scott quickly for Met, and he releases that ball expertly before he slides over the touchline. It was a good hit from Joe Hill, the Swansea fullback, and penalty here for the offside. So Swansea, having had their defensive line as one of their biggest assets so far in the game, they are now being penalised for it. And Meyer was shaping up for the kick to the corner there. He wanted the momentum to carry on for the Archers, but the ever-experienced Ben Murphy, the captain of this Archer side, opts instead to ask Meyer to go for the posts. This one a lot closer in than his previous 2 attempts, and just over to the left-hand side on the 15-metre line. Kind of bread and butter stuff for the Dutch international. I believe he was saying, Alex, he was successful on his most recent run out with the Netherlands. They were playing Chile, weren't they?
They were indeed, at home. Luckily they weren't travelling over to Chile, or maybe unluckily actually.
Yeah, I think a trip to Chile this time of year, summer down there, I wouldn't say no to that.
It wouldn't be so chilly, would it, over there?
And one for the dad joke fans everywhere, and one for the Archers as well, as they roar into their first lead of the game. A much tighter affair than we saw a year ago between these two sides at Rugby 1. Cardiff Met 6, Swansea University 5, with just about 5 minutes to play in this first half. Steph Jack Jones putting this towards the left-hand touchline for Swansea University. Crossing from Cardiff Met means it's a penalty to Swansea University, and Jack Jones may well opt to go for the posts here to retake the lead. No, he's going for the corner. So he's doing what Vikas Mayer wanted to do, and his captain, Joe Rees, is more than happy for him to do so. They're backing their rolling maul.
Yeah, interesting that Swansea are looking to try and get another try on the board. They know that they're sort of the favourites in this part of the field. You know, their pack is going to do the work, so wouldn't be surprised for a driving maul here.
They were penalised last time on it, but no such incident this time. Met looking to drive back though, and that's wheeling around to the left, getting a little bit messy, and the maul goes to ground, so advantage to Swansea. Jack Jones goes for the crossfield kick. That's not really worked out how he would have wanted, but they did have the advantage, so not the end of the world, and an unfortunate falcon there for Dylan Scott, as try scorer Willis Wood looks to keep the ball in field. We'll go all the way back over to that left-hand side. It's Ewan Dart into the squad this week. He didn't play last time out in the loss to Loughborough. 40 points to 7. Swansea lost that one at home. And Jack Jones knocks that one over. Another attempt at the line out. Another opportunity for the GWA's rolling maul to try and go over the line for the second try. We're not used to these low-scoring affairs in BUCS Super Rugby this season, such as the attacking threat of all the sides. That ball's been dropped, but it's been dropped backwards by Swansea, regathered by Cardiff Met, and Henry Kerwin doing brilliantly to gain some ground there for Met. And so they see one out again. That's 3 in a row, or three times that they've had Swansea lineouts inside their own 22, and they've managed to see out the attacking threat as Terry kicks that one over halfway. Some afters at the ruck, and I think an injury, in fact, to one of the Met forwards. Don't think we're going to show you this one. A little bit, certainly some concern shown by the physios and the referee. So with just a couple of minutes left in the half, we are just going to have a bit of a pause and It's moments like this where the input of the crowd is really important, Alex. Just as the momentum starts to fall on the pitch, the crowd has got to get behind the Archers to keep their energy levels up.
Yeah, you know what? It's moments like this that games can be won and lost. You know, it's still very tight on the scoreboard, but these moments when we're going into the half break, you know, a try here for Swansea and they go into the break looking really good going into the second half. If Cardiff Met could just hold on to this, they're up going into the break, and then they're looking the ones to have the more advantage going into the second. So the crowd can really play an impact, and it's something that the rugby lot here just are so fortunate to have. It's not many clubs that have this amount of support at Cardiff Met, so huge kudos for the turnout tonight. Great stuff.
Yeah, very little between these two sides on the scoreboard, very little between them on the BUCS Super Rugby ladder. Met coming into this match in 6th, Swansea in 8th, and Met with a 4-4 record, really wanting to get back into the positives column, getting a 5th win this season. But to do that, they will be needing to cross the line, something that they have not done yet in almost 40 minutes of action. The stadium clock winds down to 0, still time left on the referee's watch, so we will have the scrum at halfway, fed by Swansea, and the two Llandovery teammates Ben Thomas and Steph Jack Jones will link up again at 9 and 10. What's Jack Jones got up his sleeve off this set play? Good run from Oscar Stewart, the outside centre, at Jack Staton, his opposite number. Staton taking his opportunity in the starting line-out with Steph Crimp out due to injury. And working the ball straight back to the left-hand side. A nice little kick coming in there from Joe Hill. And over the touchline it goes. The Ultras liking that one. Again, just a little bit of chat between the referee and his assistant, making sure they've both seen the same thing, and it ends up with a Met penalty. So the inventive play from Joe Hill, the basketballer, his dad in fact represented Great Britain in basketball, doesn't end up coming off for Swansea. Met will relieve the pressure, and this being a penalty kick, there will be time for the line out before the break.
Yeah, interesting to see Joe Hill opt for the kick there. It looked like they might have had an extra man on the overlap there, so potentially not quite the right decision from the Swans, but Cardiff Met will take that with both hands, won't they? They're now into the opponent's half.
Met into the line, and they are going for, well, they're not really sure what they're going for. Just about works out for them. In the end, no one actually being lifted, and it was collected by Arthur Moore at the end of the line, not backwards, and they had to dive on it, not for the first time this evening. Terry drops that ball off to Max Surrey into the starting lineup this week. On goes captain Ben Murphy, tackled by 2 of the Swansea forwards to stop his ground being gained 10 metres into their half. And Met siding no options on the left-hand side. They go back to the right. Meyer beats the first defender. Ball goes loose and goes forwards. It's going to be a Swansea scrum, and the attack breaking down once again. So this real tight arm wrestle continues. No side at the moment able to find the space and put any kind of fluid attack together.
Yeah, it was interesting there. I think Alex Terry was looking to come out to this near side here by our gantry, but then it was the call from Vikas maybe to change and go on the blind side, and then it was quick hands from Chris Johnson, but yeah, unable to make anything of that play. But here it's the Swans with the scrum. So again, it's just that lack of composure in the opponent's half, isn't it, Sheps?
Yeah, I mean, Terry and May clearly they want to play, but it's just not coming off. The ball handling is just a little bit too loose. I mean, it's not been raining today, but the pitch is still soggy from the storm over the weekend and the rain that we had yesterday. So I imagine that, combined with the cold temperatures, cold hands, is why we're seeing the ball being spilt by both sides. frustratingly certainly being spilt by Cardiff Met at the moment. So that does mean once again a scrum for Swansea University. You can see the work rate of the players, the steam coming off the pad there, and just checking, you can see that on the stream as well. Really gives you an indication of the temperatures here and how hard these players are having to work. Scrum wheeling round to the left-hand side, penalty to Swansea. Their penalty count continues, or the penalty count continuing to mount up in favour of the Green and White Army. Something that Met will have to discuss at half-time. They need to address that. A 1 point margin on the scoreboard is not going to be enough. This is a South Wales derby, Alex. Oh, Swansea shaping for the kick to touch and then deciding they're actually going to run it on the right-hand side. It doesn't quite come off with them. Loose ball that Willis Wood has to scamper back and clean up. But nice to see that kind of inventiveness. We were just talking about Terry and Meyer wanting to play, while so does Steph Jack Jones at 10 for Swansea. Over to that left-hand side, through the hands of Joe Hill. Met's defence still working well. They are not going to want to have to put in a repeat of the 300 tackles they made against Loughborough. Although they're making, I would say they've made more ground defensively, Met, than they have with ball in hand.
Yeah, it does seem they seem to be drifting in the right direction when defending, just switch the other way around, not quite so much.
Penalty to Swansea, and so the half goes on. As I mentioned earlier, we did have a couple of breaks due to injury, so that's why play continues beyond the stadium clock's 40-minute mark. And Meyer, in the end, hears from the referee that that is the final play of the game and just pops that one over the touchline. The Archers will take a 1 point lead into the half-time break. It's not been the half we were really expecting, Alex. A dry game, two South Wales sides looking to really go up against one another. We thought that we might have had a few more tries than this, especially the way BSR's gone so far this season.
Yeah, you're right, Will. I mean, it's really not been the first half we were expecting. It actually started off in the way we had thought, with the Swansea pack doing the damage and then Swansea getting it through the hands, and it was Willis Wood who got their scores off to an early start. But actually it's been a little bit messy, I think. I think Swansea have definitely been the ones with ball in hand a lot more of the time. But yeah, I think Cardiff Met again, it's the reoccurring problems that we've seen early on in this season. It's just you're getting in the right areas, it's just having the composure with ball in hand. They have so much talent in there, and it's just using that in the right way. They've obviously got some talent on the bench as well that they can look to try and incorporate in the second half, so that's always something to think about. Ross McKay is available for them too.
Yeah, territory certainly in favour of Swansea University. They're the only ones to have crossed the line through Willis Wood, but it is Cardiff Met who are in the lead, a narrow lead, 6 points to 5 at half time.
So thanks Will and Alex, thank you very much. What a close first half that was. So we are now joined by Social Sec and Aaron Jenkins. So what did you think of the first half of that game in your opinion?
So I think it's good that we get the lead on half time. I think we haven't really attacked much, but I think in the second half now hopefully we can attack a bit more, play in the right areas, because I feel like we've been quite defensive. And that's obviously reflected in the score, with Swansea being the only ones to score a try so far.
And just in terms, you mentioned it there, like not much attack from Met. Where does that attack need to come from, do you think? Is it building through the pack, or is it getting out to these backs like Kerwin?
I think Kerwin will play a big factor in the second half. I think when he's in space, he is dangerous. I think we've got quite a few of the backs, especially playing through BUCS. I think he can make magic things happen. And I think if he uses that well in the second half, I think the forwards just got to front up. I think they've been doing that anyway. But yeah, I think just play through the backs and hopefully we get a few tries out wide, because I think that's where we can break them down.
So we have mentioned quite a lot about Cardiff Met Cricket, doing a lot of fundraising for Movember. I know that also Cardiff Met RFC have also been fundraising a lot for Movember. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what you guys have been doing, possibly how much you've raised already?
Okay, so we started off the month quite early. We started before November. We wanted to get it out there. It's quite a big month for us. As a big club in the uni, there's a lot of boys that are affected by stuff that Movember raises awareness for. And as a club, obviously, we support everything with that. We've given ourselves challenges, so we've done it the last few years. Silly challenges, if you say, like doing ridiculous things.
Is there any examples we can hear? Anything that's able to go out?
The first of the month, because we'd hit a target that we were looking for, we climbed Pen y Fan. But instead of just climbing Pen y Fan, we did it in budgie smugglers.
Cold.
So yeah, pretty cold.
Snowy up there at the moment.
It was. Luckily the snow hadn't hit yet.
Okay.
But it was quite misty. It was cold at the top. But again, like walking up there, people are asking us why you're doing it, and that's the aim basically, to get the message across.
Yeah, definitely.
And just we touched on it with the cricket club there earlier. They gave us a score prediction for the football match on Saturday. Let's get a score prediction from the rugby side of it. What is your score prediction?
Okay, so I think rugby will win. Obviously, I think I'm not sure. I think it'll be 10-5, I reckon, to rugby.
There we go. We heard it from both sides.
Perfect. So we are now going to talk a little bit about the BUCS fixtures that have been going on across campus this Wednesday. Joining us now is Will Richards, BUCS correspondent for today. Hello, Will. Could you talk us through some of the games, some of the football? I know you've been down at the football 3G today.
So I was down at the football today for both games. It was the women's up first. Definitely the entertainment brought more heat than the weather. It was freezing down at the King Court Stadium, but the women's were up first against Essex in what was a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. It was 5th or 6th in the table, and the game ebbed and flowed. You can sense the nerves from both teams. But it was Cardiff Met who sneaked a goal. It was, if I just want to get this right, Liv Barnes, after a well-worked corner from Duggan, tapped in at the back post to make it 1-0, and that's how the game ended, pretty much securing Cardiff Met's survival for this season. Stacey Ayling also took charge as well of the game due to Chris Baker's absence, him and his partner having a baby, so congratulations to them. And then the men's followed slightly after that.
How did the men get off? It's been an up and down season for the men so far, hasn't it? But they seem to have turned it around in the last couple of weeks.
Definitely, the men turned it around in brilliant fashion. 5 wins in a row now, 20 goals scored in 5 games as well. It was against Bath, so varsity rivals. Both teams could go top of the table if they won today. They ended up winning 5-1 thanks to goals from Ryan Reynolds, Jake Norris, and a fantastic volley from Evan Calwood.
Perfect. So it is time for the second half. We've got Will and Alex up in the gantry again to talk you through it.
Thank you, Georgie. Thank you, Allard. We are about to get back underway in this one. Cardiff Met 6, Swansea University 5, and we can tell you that both teams stayed out at half-time. Generally, on a cold night like this, you'd expect to see them head to the changing rooms, warm themselves up a bit. But to me, Alex, that suggests that neither team was really happy with their first half performance. They wanted to get straight back onto this and make up for some of the points that they maybe left on the field in the opening 40.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they wanted to make the most of that 10 minutes to get talking to each other and understand where they're going wrong, because I think you're right, both teams won't be delighted with how things went in that first half. Swansea, the last 2 games, have lost by over 30 points. I mean, considering that, they'll be happy that they're not down by 15-20 at half time, but nonetheless they won't be too delighted with how that first half went. They'll want to continue scoring. At least they got the first score on the board for the Swans though.
The first score of this second half will be really important in deciding where this South Wales derby honours end up come the end of the game. And the first penalty of the half goes the Archers' way. Straight off their feet at the ruck for Swansea University, and Meyer looking to kick this one deep into green and white territory. That is deep, but it is still in field. Knocked back into the hands of Joe Hill. A high kick caught by Meyer, and He hands it off to Tian Evans, the late injury replacement, and it's now Dylan Scott working hard on the opposite wing. And the pick and go now from Terry means Mayer's going to have to go in and act at scrum half. And he will go short side, in and then straight back out of the hands of Dylan Scott. Swansea line out on the far side. So, I mean, that's an error from Swansea to give away the penalty, but then 2 errors from Cardiff Met, not finding touch on the penalty kick and then throwing the ball out over the touchline on the far side.
Yeah, the first error came from BUCS with that penalty kick there, didn't it? And then went back and forth, and now it's back into the hands of Swansea. And I think just Dylan Scott wasn't quite ready, but here Met on the charge.
Yeah, lost forwards at the line out from Swansea, and a huge rampaging run from Ardal Yallop, the number 8, and then managing to go through the ruck there. Go the Archers and win the penalty. That's what they need to do. Hold on to possession, win the penalty, take their points. Because the story of the first half from a Met perspective was arguably exactly the same one as the story that we were getting from Tom Cole when we met up with him earlier in the week. When Met have the ball, they're not able to hold on to it for long enough to create their chances, to build the momentum and to take the game away from their opposition.
Yeah, and you know what I think, Will, is just when they're able to get points on the board, they're building confidence. And a lot of these players really need confidence. That's when they're playing their best, and I think that's something that they've noted down. Just as a team, they need that confidence, and that's only going to come from points on the board. So I think it's a good decision to go for the score here.
So this would open up a 4-point margin for the Archers inside the 22 as BUCS no trouble with that one. Absolute textbook stuff for the Dutchman. Cardiff Met 9, Swansea 5 in this tight, low-scoring affair. And we received some intel at half-time, Alex, about Steph Jack Jones, Swansea University's number 10. We knew already that he was an Aberystwyth native, but we found out that his mum was a teacher, and not only that, but his mum taught our expert Camera One operator, Rodri. So Rodri actually knows Steph pretty well. But despite that, I'm sure Rodri will still be supporting the Archers tonight. As the towering box kick comes in from Alex Terry, well dealt with by Joe Hill, and Ewan Dark, the number 8, back there to take that ball up. And we did hear that that's a tactic that Swansea would use to put their big number 8 into the backfield and use them rugby league style to take the ball up to the Met defence. Off kicks. Met dealt with it that time, and a bit of kick tennis here, forcing Jack Jones to put in the up and under. Mayer just clings on to that one, does really well in the end. Jack Jones has put in a good chase, though, to be involved in that defensive effort, as Ollie Smith distributes the ball out with some lovely hands for a second row. And then the ball knocked forwards in the ruck by Swansea University, scrum to the Archers.
Oh, I just do think that Steph Jack Jones is dictating the way things are going out here. You know, he seems to be in every positive play for the Swans. It's whether he's getting the ball out into his backs or whether it's him going with the up and over and then forcing a pretty big tackle himself. And yeah, he's everywhere at the moment.
With a glimpse of the Ultras there, and I can tell you that their noise levels are really getting up at the moment. They are fully behind their team in this one. Not quite sure what their theme is for fancy dress, and I can see a Santa there. So Christmas theme starting to creep into the Ultras.
Yeah, it's not even December yet, Sheps, and the Santa's already out there. We can see him in the bottom left. Looks a little bit deserted there, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's not only is he not doing Movember, but he doesn't have a beard of any description to speak of, and that to me just feels a little bit like a Santa that's been caught unawares too early in the season. He's not got his Santa belly ready, he's not grown his beard. I certainly don't think he's going to be distributing any presents anytime soon. Mayer with a little grubber kick through, and he's got Johnson herring after it. But this is working out for Swansea. Joe Hill with the little up and under. Well taken by Tian Evans, his opposite number. Met just seeing out that attack. Now they need to set the platform for the kick. They're going for it early, just the one ruck before Terry goes for it, just gets that one up really high, not much distance on it as he had the on-rushing defence, and he was wary of being charged down for a second time in this game. So Swansea University then get their hands on the ball in Met's half. That ball spilt forwards, and Murphy trying to offload it with just the one hand, and the pass forced over on the left-hand side and into touch. Met hope this advantage was still being played, and it was, so they will come back for the scrum.
Yeah, creative play from Joe Hill, wasn't it? I mean, he saw the space back in behind, and he wasn't far off from collecting it behind the Met defence. But yeah, good turnover from captain Ben Murphy, and then again it's just Chris Johnson with the slightly misplaced pass on that far side.
Yeah, perhaps forcing a little bit. I think he was a bit frustrated maybe having not been able to gather Mayer's grubber. The grubber just shaping away from him. That's the problem with a rugby ball. Slightly wrong on the bounce, and the ball goes exactly where you don't want it to, as we just see that again. Bounced up perfectly for Joe Hill though, and there's his little up and under. Tian Evans with an athletic catch that wouldn't be out of place on a cricket field.
Yeah, Tian Evans doing a good job with the late call-up, isn't he, so far, Sheps?
He is. He obviously had his flat white before the game. That's his pre-match routine. And speaking of, I actually forgot my flat white, and it's almost frozen now. Such are the temperatures here at Rugby 1 in late November, and I think it's only going to get colder as we get closer to Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not so familiar with the iced flat white, personally, Sheps.
I think maybe on a summer's day it might be all right, but it's not really my favoured drink at this point of the year. Yallow, able to get away from his opposite number. He just slipped, or sorry, the open side flanker, he just slipped trying to chase after him. So good opening couple of carries from this scrum by Met. This is Max Surrey now on the ball, needing to hold on to it, and the ref has seen that it was spilt forwards. And so possession switches back to Swansea once again. Frustrating for Surrey, the prop involved with the Scotland setup at age grade level. Real powerhouse in this side, and he's done fantastically off the bench in recent games to force his way into the starting lineup for the Archers tonight. His focus now switches to the scrum. Both sides have been pretty safe at scrum time on their own feed, but a win against the head here would be fantastic for the Archers.
Yeah, put them in a pretty good position, wouldn't it?
Days, of course, of the ball being fed straight down the tunnel at the scrum and both hookers having an equal opportunity to go for it are long gone, so that's safely into the pack for Swansea. And Kerwin managing to find Tian Evans, who steps past the first chaser and is caught just on his 22. He's done well there, and a lovely step from Ollie Smith. We saw his silky hands earlier, and then that step there. He's maybe auditioning for a role on the back line, and speaking of the back line, oh, it had been working so well from Jack Staton, really staking a claim to hold on to this 13 jersey even once Crimp is back available for selection. His pass just in front of his centre partner Chris Johnson, spilt forwards, and Swansea are let off the hook, because that was looking like Cardiff Met's best attack of the game so far.
What a run from Jack Staton, such a good line, and he's a confidence player. He's another one that we've been speaking about that needs that confidence. So hopefully, going forward in this match, that little run there will give him that confidence needed. And Chris, who was it? Chris Johnson, again, just knocking that ball on. He's had a couple in the last couple of minutes where he's just not quite been able to get into the right place, is he?
Yeah, but huge confidence for Jack Staton. It was his opposite number that he managed to step outside of, so he'll be looking to do that again as this match continues on. Huge hit from BUCS Mayer, forcing Swansea backwards, and in fact it's going to make them opt for the box kick earlier on than they would have done otherwise. Ben Thomas just waiting for the perfect moment. He now forced to go really high and not very deep, just as Terry was only a few minutes ago. A hand in there from Swansea, knocking that ball forwards, giving the advantage to the Archers, who make it up over halfway. Terry on to Myers, just thinking about the kick that he was going to go for and not able to take that ball into the cold mix that he will certainly have. Luckily, advantage still being played for Met, and so we will have something we've not had many of this match. We'll have another scrum.
Yeah, a little bit fortunate there, BUCS Mayer, with the knock-on, but luckily the ref calling back to go to that scrum. As you say, something we've seen a fair bit of so far in this match.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that feeling playing 10, where you've received the ball off the back of a scrum. You know your forwards have just put in a real shift to win the ball for you, and then you knock the ball on straight away, and you just know that all 8 of those big fellas are looking around at you, thinking, "Why are you making me work so hard? Why do I have to get back into this smelly, sweaty scrum? Something I'd not want to go near." And talking of not going near it, the back 3 for Cardiff Met combining brilliantly here. Huge hit on Kerwin. But all 3 of the wingers and the fullback involved there, and still Met go forwards. This, the most promising opportunity they've had of the half. First time they've had a sustained set of phases inside the Swansea 22. Picking and going now, getting closer to the posts, closer to the line, and the first try of the game for Cardiff Met. And we are just looking to see who emerges from that pile of bodies, celebrating the try. Cardiff Met move more than a score ahead, 14-5 to the Archers. Kick to come. And the try scorer, try scorer there, Josh Hart for Cardiff Met. We are going to see a replay shortly after this kick, I think, as BUCS Mayer lines it up. And he will take his time here just to allow his teammates to catch their breath. A really well executed try. Scrum over on the far side. Oh, Mayer actually just slides that one to the left of the posts. So it will remain 14-5 to Met as we see this once again. Alex, a really good drive from Josh Hart to find his way to the line now.
Yeah, so impressive from the Archers. Originally it was Jack Staton and Henry Cohen linking up so well on this right side, getting the forwards into the right position, and they lined up, and it was Josh Hart, as you say, Will, the Scram student, putting in to play his experience. Of course, he's a third year, so he's been in this position a few times before. His hero is Sam Warburton, and that was very much Warburton style rugby, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure that we could find a way of And as Met prepped themselves for the scrum, they made the change at number 10. So Vikas Meyer is off for the rest of the evening. On comes Ross McKay, a man who has been involved at some of the highest levels of rugby for his age grade recently. Has spent time with the Ulster Academy and then spent a season playing down in New Zealand. Both of those experiences are going to stand him and his side in really good stead in the last quarter of this match, Alex.
Yeah, how good is it for the Archers to have the likes of Ross McKay ready to step in as one of those impact players? Like you say, Will, he's spent some time down in New Zealand with the rugby gods, and just incredible to have him step on the field for the last 20 minutes or so. And let's see if he can make an impact, because he's a second-year student who's got some wheels on him.
He certainly is, and what got me so excited a few minutes ago was that attack from Cardiff Met, where we saw number 23, Jacob Wilmot, returning to action for the Archers and distributing the ball out with perfect precision over on the far side. Great to see him back, returning from injury for Cardiff Met, who have this scrum centre field inside Swansea territory. The momentum certainly feels to be with the Archers right now, Alex.
Oh yeah, things have changed from the beginning of the match, and now it's very much, it seems, this match in the Archers' hands as they get this ball out to the backs.
And that was Jack Staton, who remains on the field. So interesting to see that Met have decided to go with Staton and Wilmot, two outside centres, rather than the tried and tested Wilmot-Johnson combination in the centres. Advantage being played there, so Swansea's interception will come to naught. So penalty to Cardiff Met, and with 15.5 minutes showing on the scoreboard, remember it will be a little bit longer than that actually in the game, Ross McKay is opting to go for goal. So Vikas Meyer able to knock over two penalties in the first half before, two penalties in the first half and a third as we opened up the second half. This is the first time that we will see Ross McKay kick for goal. And very different kicking styles, where Meyer decides to have the ball quite flat on the tee, almost vertical here for McKay. Short run up, and that one going straight down the middle of the posts. A perfect kick from McKay. Great start to his game here. And the lead extended for Cardiff Met. 17 points to 5 with just over 15 to play. Restart pretty much down the centre of the field from Swansea. Lost forwards by Met. Swansea with the opportunity to counter-attack up into the 22. Played out now to the replacement Tom Zuga, who dropped to the bench after last week's loss, but will be keen to make an impact as a finisher here.
There's just been so many handling errors, especially in this second half so far, and it feels to me that there's something about maybe the pitch. Is it still a little bit slippy? Is that causing the ball to become a little bit slippy too? Clearly something that both teams are struggling with.
Yeah, I certainly remember. What about you? You played 12 when you were younger, didn't you, Alex? I played 10, so I certainly remember cold nights like this, being more than happy to let the big fellas in the forward pack keep a hold of the ball and not have to do too much with my freezing cold hands.
I think it's just added safety as well, you know, with the front lads passing it, maybe being a little bit more close together as well. That adds a little bit more safety with the handling and hopefully keeps that error count low. But yeah, that's just still something that both teams are working out so far.
You won't remember this, Alex, because you're too young, but I do remember my very early days of playing rugby, coming off the pitch, being so cold that I couldn't undo the button on my jersey. Back in the days when we had collars and buttons and proper cotton rugby jerseys.
Yeah, no, I don't have that.
No, I'm not that old. So scrum to Swansea on the 22-metre line. This an opportunity for them to get themselves back in the game. And how long has it been since we've seen them in this position on the field? We were talking at half-time about the fact that it was Swansea that had made the most of their opportunities in the first half and probably would have been the most frustrated to find themselves a point down on the scoreboard. They've just been neutralised by Met in this second half.
I think they'll be gobsmacked with the fact that they're, this far down in the match, because in the first half they had so much territory and Cardiff Met just pushing out the Swans there on that far side.
The Ultras absolutely loving that one. The noise level increasing another octave as a few more decibels even as we see the intensity continue to rise from the Archers on the field. They have found another level in the second half and Swansea have been unable to match it.
I do think, Will, it's just a little bit of game management that's been impressive from Cardiff Met. They haven't been playing that well, but they've managed to find a way to get up in this scoreboard, and that's something that they're going to have to do later on in this BUCS season, because it's not all going to be plain sailing, is it, against these quality teams?
No, and so far Cardiff Met have only managed to beat the teams that are below them on the ladder. That's something that they've got to put right in the second half of the regular season to ensure they get a home quarter final. Beautiful crossfield kick here, well taken by Max Ambrosini, who we haven't seen too much of in this game so far, and penalty to Cardiff Met. So that's starting to be the story of the half for Swansea offensively. Just as they come up with some inventive play, just as they get themselves on the front foot, penalty won by Met. And pressure relieved, although that kick from McKay only just inside the Swansea half. So still giving his pack a fair way to go with this ball. They're going to cross the line once again. And we also see Connell Couch on. Now, we talked about Storm Burt last weekend. We hear that Storm Connell is the next one to be incoming, and he's certainly bringing the Storm onto the pitch now. And it's Swansea who are looking to come away from that line-out, having won it against the head. And just as they did before, they get the ball in hand, they make some metres, and they lose the ball. It's kind of what the Archers were doing in the first half.
Yeah, almost role reversal, to be honest, Will. I think, it's something, I don't know what spell Cardiff Met cast on Swansea during that half-time break, but seriously, it seems to be a role reversal out here, but thank God for the turnaround, because the Ultras now have something to sing about. Also, I think Harry Silman has made his way onto the pitch. I didn't see him come on, but he's now been in the last couple of line-outs, so good to see the first year who's been involved in the Dragon setup too.
Nice passing play through the back line, and that is a great run from Jack Statham, managing to gain a good 20 metres up into the Swansea half. That ball out over the touchline, and it is going to be Swansea possession, however, though. Nice play from the scrum. And we can see quite a few forward replacements on for Cardiff Met now. Gethin Cannon, Will Owen also joining the ranks to bring on the fresh legs to keep the energy levels up for the Archers, just as they are on the terraces. That throw did not look straight, and it's going to end up in the hands of Met. And in fact, I'd be interested to see the line-out stats in this second half. Swansea really unable to secure their own ball at the line-out. There's Rice, another of the subs in scrum half, and And Kerwin just driven back a little bit in the tackle, just means that Met decide to change play over to the right-hand side. This one is just going to beat everyone to the touchline. Rice was just inside his own half as he put in that kick, so it's not going to be a 50-22, but still a really nice attacking kick from the archer to put the pressure on Swansea even more.
Yeah, Harry Rice coming in and having an impact straight away. Also involved in the Dragon setup. He doesn't take that role lightly coming into this squad. He's only a first year still, remember, and he just wants to make his team proud early on in his Cardiff Met career, and so far doing such a good job, and what a kick that was.
Lovely stuff, and put the pressure on for Swansea, but they do on this occasion manage to hold on to their own throw, and will set up the platform for the exit. Last time they went to exit, they did not find touch, and there may even have been a little bit of a touch on Price's box kick there. It certainly didn't go far down the field. That may have been more of a hook on the kick. Just reaches the 22. So nice platform here for the Archers. One of the only forwards to still be on from the first half is George Merritt, the hooker. But with the throwing he has displayed so far this evening, you can understand why they decide not to go for them all in the end. Yallop, another of the ever-presents in the pack, beats the first tackle, beats the second, and that is a wonderful try under the post for Ardal Yallop. Fantastic stuff. They went for the decoy maul, distributed it round to the left-hand side, the offload to Yallop, ran through the first defender, stepped inside the second, and over the line under the posts. Met 22, Swansea 5.
Ardal Yallop just continuing to impress in that number 8 position. Look at him, look at this powerful run straight through the line of the Swans, and he just finishes it off with such class, doesn't he, Sheps?
Lovely step back inside at the end there. The kind of footwork that would befit one of his wingers, and great to have that kind of agility in your back row. The conversion was also scored by Ross McKay, so that means it's Cardiff Met 24, Swansea University 5, and this match with about 7 minutes to play in it, certainly beyond the grasp of Swansea University now, you'd say, Alex.
I think they're going to be gutted. The way this match started, it looked like they were going to have a foothold in this match, but things have turned around massively, and now there's a real gap in between Cardiff Met and the Swans now.
Slow ball here for Cardiff Met. They've no need to rush now. Unlikely that they're going to get the bonus point. Just 2 tries scored so far. They'll need another 2. And a nice turnover there. Good hard run from Will Owen, the Bristol Bears Academy player. And that ball just held on to by Jack Staton. I think he's had a really good game in the back line, and he keeps this attack moving forward. And it is going to be a lovely try over in the left-hand corner for Tian Evans, a man who just a few hours ago would have been expecting to be one of the ultras supporting from the sidelines, but due to an unfortunate late injury to Josh Carrington, found himself in the starting lineup. And what a way to seize your opportunity. He had quite a bit of work to do when the ball ended up in his hands, but he's over in the left-hand corner for a 3rd try for Cardiff Met.
Tian Evans has just come into this squad beautifully, hasn't he? Look at the pace down on that far side, and he's just been quality today. He's been that last line of defence of Cardiff Met, and he's been quality. Hardly any errors coming from the hands of Tian Evans, and he's finished superbly in that try. Superb stuff.
Kick from all the way over on the far touchline for Ross McKay here to try and take Met to 31 points. And he's done it. What a kick.
Blimey.
the depth of kicking in this side. We know that Steph Crimp, injured today, is an excellent goal kicker. We know BUCS Meyer, who started the game at 10, is an excellent goal kicker. Well, there's 3 at least in this squad. Ross McKay with a wonderful conversion there. Cardiff Met 31, Swansea 5. Just a couple of minutes ago, Alex, I said the bonus point probably wasn't on for Cardiff. They only need 1 more try, but if Swansea have anything to say in that, and their outside centre Oscar Stewart does as well, it will not be a 4th try for Met. In fact, it could be Swansea getting their way back over the line. A penalty inside the Archers 22, the deepest into Met territory they've been for a long time, and one of the only times we've been mentioning Steph Jack Jones in this second half. Such has been Met's dominance, is his kick there to the corner, just as he did every time he kicked in the first half, though he's hammered that perfectly into the 5-metre marker to give the line out as close to Met's line as possible. This we know is Swansea's strongest weapon, the rolling maul off the line out. Safely secured, maul spinning round, breaking, and that will be a try for Swansea. And not the scorer you might expect off the back of that maul. You'd think it would be one of the bigger lads who would have taken it over the line, but in this case it is Will Placete, the loose forward, who finds his way over the line. Cardiff Met 31, Swansea 10. Jack Jones looking to add.
Yeah, consolation try it seems for Swansea. Let's have a little look at the replay in a second before, after we see this kick rather. They'll be pleased to get at least something from this game, you know.
They will, but I think they're going to be so frustrated. To be just a point away at half-time, to really, I would argue, be the better team in that first half, to then find themselves 21 points down at this point. Could be 19 if Steph Jack Jones is able to convert this try. That one's just going to twist to the left of the post and not go over. 31-10 to Cardiff Met. And here we do see the replay, well taken from the line out, and then no messing about. The break comes from Will Placete, straight over the line for Swansea's second try. Deep restart from Ross McKay, and with just a couple of minutes left in this one, Alex, it's time to ask you for your man of the match.
Yeah, for me, Will, there's been some quality displays from both sides. I mean, for the Swans, I know they haven't they're not going to get the result they would have wanted coming to Kincoid, but Steph Jack Jones has had a great game. He's been very creative in his performance. But in terms of the Archers, for me, it's Ardal Yallop who's going to be our Prospero player of the match, because his carries have been really impressive, and some of those runs he's made through that midfield have been quality. So for me, Ardal Yallop is the Prospero player of the match.
I completely agree with you there, Alex. He has been involved in everything good that Cardiff Met have done today, and they win a penalty there, but it was that third try for Met. Yallop bursting through the first tackle, stepping elegantly around the last defender to go over for that third score, and he's still on the pitch now. He's going to play the full 80 in this one. I also was really impressed by Jack Staton taking his opportunity in the 13 jersey, so we may well see him playing in the centres again next week, despite Wilmot having returned from injury, and depending on the status of Steph Crimp in a week's time.
I think that's what's so good, Sheps, about this Archer side, is that we've got the depth for players to come in and make an impact and challenge those front runners.
And it is a hell of a shift from George Merritt into the starting lineup this week at hooker to be going to full 80. Rare that you see that these days from a front rower, especially with the likes of Lewis Walsh on the bench. But he has had a very good game as well. And Cardiff Met the opportunity to get what could be a crucial bonus point here in the dying stages of the game. They're just 5 metres out. Results going their way this evening could see them work their way back into the top 4, and a bonus point would be huge for that as well. It is Wilmot on his return. Jacob Wilmot over on the right hand side. Cardiff Met's 4th try, bonus point secured.
Oh, delightful. Jacob Wilmot is in for another try for the Cardiff Met team. I mean, coming back from injury, he scored actually on Friday for the Premiership team on this very pitch, and great to see him get yet another try on Rugby 1, because how good is it to see Jacob Wilmot back playing?
So good. I mean, the power that you saw in the replay there. The decision had been made by Ross McKay to switch the play back to the blind side. Actually, looking at that replay, I think there were more defenders over on that side for Swansea than there were attackers for Met. But Wilmot has bashed his way through 3 of them, thrown himself over the line and taking Cardiff Met to 36 points. This turning from a tight single point arm wrestle in the first half to being an utterly dominant performance from the Archers.
We were saying how low scoring that first half was. I mean, look at it now.
Just 11 points between the two teams in the first half. It ends 38-10 in the second half. Cardiff Met taking the honours here and getting that all-important bonus point try at the end to really get themselves back in the running in BUCS Super Rugby this season. They'd had a couple of 3 losses in a row. They'd gone down to a 4-4 record, but we see them move back into the winners column and up into the top 4. Alex, where would you say that game was won for the Archers?
We mentioned that the first half was such a tight affair, and somehow Cardiff Met came out on top in that first half, having had almost hardly any possession. So really tough for the Swans to be down 6-5, I think it was, in that first half. So actually, potentially that could have been crucial when we look at it from afar. And then it was just a second half performance from the ages from Cardiff Met. They were much better in handling out the ball out wide, and eventually tries started to come, and that was it really. It was just about getting over the line time and time again, and they got 40 points almost on the board. So incredible stuff.
6 points in the first half for the Archers, 32 in the second half. They go from 6-5 at the break to 38-10 winners, as we see some of the highlights of the match. That started, of course, with that try for Swansea. Willis Wood going over the brightest moment of the match for Swansea before the turnaround at half-time, where it all went the Archers' way. And that is what the Ultras came for tonight. They returned to winning way for Cardiff Met, delivered in front of their tirelessly vocal supporters here on home ground. That's going to leave Swansea returning along the M4 with a 6th loss of the season. 2 wins, 6 losses and a draw for them. Their search for a win goes into a second month, but it's Cardiff Met who bounce back and leapfrog Durham and the BUCS Super Rugby table. Alex, it was a consummate second half from Cardiff Met, as we see some of the scores in the second half, and that try from Yallop, for me, just a standout moment in the game.
Oh, I think our player of the match, Yallop, just showcased what he has to offer. You know, he's slightly elder, of course, he's studying a Masters here, and he's had that experience on this Rugby 1 pitch to know where the space comes, and goodness me, that powerful display from Ardo Yallop certainly stood out to me, Sheps. And I think, just looking on the other side of the pitch, that's another 30-point loss for Swansea. They've got to be absolutely bewildered with how they've lost that to so many points, because they were looking so good in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, in a way that they haven't been for a while. They'd lost 40 points to 7, as you said last week, to Loughborough, 57-19 before that to Bath. You've got to go back to their 17-17 draw with Cardiff at the start of the month for them to be within a few scores of their opponents. And it looked like this was a game that they actually had a genuine chance of winning after 40 minutes. And then Met just hit the afterburners and have extended their lead a massive amount, 38-10 the final score. And one of the tries that contributed to that was Tian Evans' score over in the left-hand corner. Alex, as we said at the time, he wasn't expecting to play today. Carrington scored a hat-trick the last time these two teams played. He's from Swansea himself. He'll have been gutted to miss out, but Evans seizing his opportunity with both hands.
Oh, just how well did Evans step in? I mean, it's never easy to come into a big match at late notice, such as Evans this morning. You know, we only heard a few hours before the game that Joshua Carrington, the Swansea boy, wasn't going to be fit. So Tian Evans with the call-up. He's been playing well in the Premiership side here for the Archers, but he's come into this BUCS 1 side and he has performed. And how good is that for him going forward? Because, you know, now he's going to be challenging Carrington to that spot, and that's what these guys want. They want to be challenging for the spots, because that's going to only improve the competition and the level of play from the Archers.
Absolutely, and when we were talking to Tom earlier in the week, he was talking about the fact that the Met try and look at this as one big club. They've got their Saturday team that plays in the Premiership, their Wednesday team for BUCS, as that Wednesday team runs over to the Ultras. Really happy with their performance, but they work together as one whole squad, and we've seen that depth tonight with those injury replacements coming in, staking their claim and performing every bit as well as the man that wore the shirt the week before them.
Absolutely, and it's just such a big squad. You know, as you said already, in this match we were speaking to Tom, the performance coach, who's actually about to come over and speak to our hosts Alid and Georgie, and he's been saying how important that squad is.
Yeah, he certainly has, and so they will be delighted with that win. Thank you for joining us for the match here. 38-10 is the score at the end of the game for Cardiff Met. And last week there were a few of us who were actually involved in the captain's run ahead of the Wales versus South Africa test at the Principality. Alex and I amongst them. And while we were walking around the streets of Cardiff looking for some members of the public to have a chat to, we bumped into a rather famous face, a former Springbok captain and World Cup winner.
Matfield plucks it out of the air. Dominated by Matfield. Has made that number 5 jersey just about his own.
Well, Matfield's got in front of them here. Here's a go by
Actually, on my way to the Rugby Awards from Sunday at Monaco, I thought, well, I'm in Europe, the best place to come watch a game. It's my favourite place. I've always told my wife, you can't get a better place to come watch the box, so we're here, so let's come past and come support the boys.
Have you got a favourite pub here in Cardiff?
Not one that stands out. There's quite a few. In the old days, the Tiger after the game was pretty good. I don't know if it still exists, but yeah, it's a fantastic place. And I've said, we always stayed at the Hilton, so it's right in the middle. You can feel on the Thursday how the people come in, all the South Africans to come and support, and it's just an unbelievable place to come to.
So Wales might not be doing so well in the rugby at the moment, but Cardiff sure is such a great city on a game day.
Yeah, and we're joined by Tom Cole, the Cardiff Met coach, after that big win from Cardiff Met. Tom, massive result tonight. I mean, that second half as well, especially, really, you showcase what you can do in that second half.
Yeah, we're our own worst enemies at times, and I think there was a lot of frustration at half time in terms of, you know, we were 6-5 up at the break, and we were probably a bit fortunate in that sense. We hadn't really got our game going, and you know, we were full of error. And if you let a team like Swansea get easy access to your 22, you are going to struggle against them. And fair play to them, you know, they defended quite well in that first half, and you know, our errors then kind of cost us dearly.
What did you say to the boys at half time? What was the message at the break? What you can tell us?
I'm safe. I think Guards was the one firing into him, but no, it was very much just focusing on us and the things that we did get right in that first half, and you know, we managed to find some spaces on the edges, which is an area that, you know, we're particularly dangerous, and we have been throughout the season. But you know, a big thing for us was looking after the possession a bit and making sure we were playing in those right areas and building ourselves into the game, not trying to chase and force things. Unfortunately, you know, we managed to do that in the second half, and a good impact from the boys coming off the bench as well, which was huge.
So is there any individual players for you that stood out tonight?
Yeah, so I think Tian Evans was a real good individual as a full-back coming in as his first game in BSR, and I was coming in last minute for Josh Carrington, who pulled out ill this morning, was a big one, and Jack Statton as well, having his first start at BSR in the centre, performed really well tonight, and I think those were two standout players for us.
Yeah, definitely. So any takeaways as well from tonight's game? As we've got Exeter next week, you guys have Exeter next week, so is there any takeaways from tonight's game you want to bring into Exeter's game next week?
Oh, a big thing, is something that we've kind of been focusing on, is that that ability to try and crack down on those errors, and I think Exeter are a really good side. Obviously, they were in the BSR League champions last year, and playing in the final as well against Loughborough. We know how dangerous they are, and if we give them the kind of opportunities we give Swansea this evening, it's going to be a tough afternoon next Wednesday for sure.
Tom, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll let you join the rest of the celebrations. Well done. Thank you. And we're going to bring in the player of the match, Adil Yalap. Adil, a brilliant performance tonight. A great try from yourself. When you saw that space open up in front of you, did you only have one thing in mind?
Yeah. I'd come in inside me. I just thought, just head down. Like, we've thrown a couple of silly offloads out. I just thought, if we have to take a phase, we're on top.
And it was a bit of a cagey first half. The conditions perhaps playing a part in the game, being a bit scrappy. Was it difficult conditions to play in, or do you just have to get on with it?
Just got to get on with it. It's Wales, isn't it? It's wet, it's muddy. Like last night didn't really help. We like a bit more dry, but just pack down, go against them.
And your brother actually goes to Swansea Uni, doesn't he? So a little bit of stick there for him perhaps tonight?
Yeah, I've had last 2 weeks just had stick from them saying how they're going to beat us, and then just had to prove them wrong today.
Fantastic. And just going into sort of next week now and going ahead to the rest of the season, that was a must-win tonight. You've got over the line in style in the end with a bonus point. What can you take forward into next week now?
I think just confidence in that second half. Like for the last couple of weeks, we've been saying we started a bit slow, but when we turned on in the second half, bench came on, gave us a bit more physicality, a bit more go forward. So we're just going to start with that, and that gives us a bit of confidence.
Diane, well done. Thank you very much. Well
Congratulations.
We're going to bring in Swansea. Here we go. What went wrong in that second half really for you tonight?
Like I think on first half we were on top of them, and we were on our own worst enemy here, like penalty count, error count, through the roof in the second half, and we paid the price.
What was the kind of the going into the second half? Into half time. Obviously a very close match. I actually think you shaded it probably in the first half. What was the message in the half time talk?
It was the same message, not to chase the game and build pressure, but we didn't do that unfortunately. And in games like this, you're going to be punished, which we were. So it's tough.
And obviously, a bit of a tough season so far, but you're still up above the relegation zone and stuff in BUCS Rugby. How do you go forward from here? Really, have you just got to keep going and everything like that?
Look, yeah, we know the boys need to buy in the next 2 weeks now, because these are must-do wins, and we can escape that relegation. It's not where we want to be, and we know we're better. So next 2 weeks need a big buy-in, and we'll be there.
Thanks very much for your time. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're also going to bring back our BUCS correspondent Will Richards to give us a little bit more information, as half-time was a short one tonight. Will, hello. Thank you very much for joining us again. Can you give us a few more updates from our BUCS Wednesdays today?
Yeah, so I'll just recap over the women's quickly. They won 1-0 in a massive game against Essex at the bottom of the BUCS Prem South table, pretty much all but ensuring their survival for this season. I'd also keep a close eye on the socials for the BUCS, for the women football and Cardiff Met Sport TV, as well as I do believe my sources have told me inside the women's camp that an announcement will be coming soon for their new manager, so definitely keep an eye out for that. As for the men, I've touched on it briefly at half time, but they won 5-1 against Bath, obviously varsity rivals, a massive game for them. It was second versus third in the BUCS Prem South men's, and Cardiff Met actually ended up going top, winning 5-1. It was Elliot Evans, the manager's birthday yesterday, so he obviously got a very nice present with that result.
Happy birthday to him.
And the goals scored, but some of the best I think I've seen all year for that Cardiff Met team. That's 5 wins in a row, 20 goals in 5 games, and it was Ryan Reynolds at the double, Jake Morris at the double as well, and finally a last goal from, I believe, Evan Calwarder with a fantastic volley. All those highlights will be made available on Cardiff Met Sport YouTube channel, and the live stream from the women's game is also there as well, so I'll definitely check those two out. I believe the women's rugby as well.
Yeah, they've won 40 points to 20 tonight, so that's a great result up in Edinburgh as well. But thank you very much, Will, and
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
So congratulations to Cardiff Met tonight, an awesome win. It has been well awaited. So we have got an apology to make. There has been a few technical difficulties tonight. So we deeply apologise for that, and we hope it gave you some time to grab a snack from the cupboard.
Yeah, and we have talked about the Movember campaign a lot tonight. There is, of course, even though the month is ending, the fundraising still continues, and if you would like to donate and get involved with any of those campaigns, you can go to the individual club's social media pages, click the links in their bio and see where you can donate to them. They're so close to their targets. Let's try and get them over the line before the end of the month. Thank you very much for watching. Before you leave us, we're going to leave you and we're going to talk about the cricket club again as England international Tom Curran. He's got a new project here in Cardiff. It's called the Naked Ground Health Club, combining fitness and coffee, and the Cardiff Met Cricket Club have been down there this week. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name's Cameron Melly, joined with Cardiff Met Cricket, and today we're excited to share our new facility, Naked Ground Health Club. It's a place where you can train hard and refuel with some of the best coffee in town. So let's head inside to the gym and see what the team has to say about this new place.
The facility, located near the bay, has always been a dream for England and Surrey cricketer Tom Curran, who has expressed his love for a healthy lifestyle and a passion for coffee.
Cardiff Met Cricket are lucky enough to have access to this gym, a sauna, steam room, paddle tennis and a fantastic coffee shop.
In a town that I feel like, Cardiff is traditionally, I feel, a rugby-dominated city in a sense, although, cricket is such a big part of this amazing place. It just felt right for us. And, if we can help and, really integrate this, I guess we can try and echo it elsewhere, but to really make that difference in a community, we felt like this is the perfect fit for us and the start of a very special journey.
Wide-ish long off and a deep extra cover. Hat-trick ball. Got it!
The Curran brothers have previously expressed their passion for the gym through social media and the positive effects that it can have not only on a person's physical well-being, but on a person's mental health, making Naked Ground Health Club a perfect fit for theirs and others of active lifestyle and values.
I think access to this facility will be great for us as a club. It means that we can bond together, we can get together, train together, and it will bring us closer together as a team.
So absolutely, this is one thing that we're trying to engage with. We want our players to have access to high performance opportunities, whether that be training, whether that be saunas, steam baths and access to ice baths and so on. Like, we're really encouraging our players to see that active recovery as a part of something, and really important that they engage in that pre-season, engage in that performance measures, put themselves in the best possible position to be the best possible athletes they can be. And accessing this gym now just means that we have access, we have somewhere that we can call our home, and some way that's going to really enhance our offer to our students at Cardiff Met.
The gym will not only pose as a fantastic base camp for Cardiff Met to recover post-fixtures, but serve as a building block to develop the next generation of professional cricketers graduating from Cardiff Met.
Happy to go? Yeah. Hello, I'm Joe Towns and I'm the Programme Director of the Sport Broadcast Master's degree. The Sport Broadcast MSc is all about live production skills, sports broadcast journalism and content creation, whether that's for social media, for podcasts, long-form documentaries or short-form TikTok. On the Sport Broadcast Master's degree, we try and cover every possible role that you could find in the contemporary sports media industry. We want our students to be prepared for all of them, whether that's behind the camera, directing, producing, editing, operating replays, directing a live stream, or if it's on screen, reporting, presenting, commentating. We've designed this course as the perfect stepping stone into the sport broadcast media industry. In terms of broadcast facilities, we have a fully equipped Adobe Lab, which is our newsroom, a TV news gallery, a radio room, brand new podcast studio, and out on the sports fields we have gantries and galleries so that we can live stream football and rugby every week. This course is a practical course, it's hands-on, it's vocational. We really pride ourselves that we're trying to create students that are multi-skilled and ready to take their career in any direction when they leave us. The big advantage of running this course on this campus here at Cardiff Met is that there is elite sport every week, whether that's Wednesday as part of the BUCS competition or so many of our teams play in National League sporting competitions on the weekend. On a Wednesday afternoon, our students could be directing a live stream of BUCS Super Rugby. They might be filming highlights for a live football match, presenting a radio show, making a podcast, or doing a live TV Up the Archer sports preview show. As well as weekly BUCS fixtures, we also cover some really big events on campus, whether that's our varsity day against Bath University.
It's Cardiff Clash. Cardiff Met versus Cardiff University.
Clash on the Court, a triple header in the Archers Arena where we show netball, women's basketball, men's basketball, or the Cardiff Met Sports Awards, a massive event in a hotel in the city where we do all of the VTs and production for what is a brilliant way to round off the year. Across the city and across Wales, we have some very well established relationships with the industry, so our students have opportunities the whole year long to go out on placements. If you're a Welsh speaker,
Shwmae a chroeso I bennod arall o Work Theatre.
Then we allow all students to submit any of their coursework in the medium of Welsh. We also have some fantastic opportunities in the Welsh sports broadcast industry. The sport broadcast industry is a fast-changing, ever-evolving space. We're really proud that so many of our graduates go on to work in the industry. There's all sorts of possible opportunities for the students to explore once they finish the Sport Broadcast Master's degree.